Sinavatar Prasida Siddhara Pranaya Prachara Ajana Lambito Bujo Kanakabodato Sankirtana Kapitaro Kamla Taksho Vishwambaro Dvijayo Yugadama Palo Bande Jagapriakaro Karunavati Nakolo Ananda Lilamaya Vigraya Himam Dibasha Vishundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rashabadashi Chaitanya Chandra Namo Namaste Kasturi Tilakam Latapatale Vaksana Kostam Nasagrivan Muktikam Karatare Venu Karakankanam Sava Angari Chandanam Salalitam Kanta Muktavali Rajastrio Parivestito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani He Shishama Sundar Shikara Shikara Smirhasamili Manohara Radhikara Sikamama Kripanari Supriya Charina Kinkaring Kuru Tavai Vasmi Najivami Tayavina Iti Vigyara Detam Namam Charanantikam Yat Kinkareshu Bausa Kaluka Kamani Nitaparasha Purusha Shakandamali Tashikadara Sanidevi Sabanujayas Tatkeli Kanjaba Vanangala Majini Shama Vajami Radha Radhavinda Netram Smarami Radha Madhura Smitasham Vadhami Radha Karuna Barajam Tatom Manastigati Nakapi Pakita Vahino Yaparada Lakshay Shiptascha Kamari Tarangamaje Kripamai Twang Sharanang Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanara Vindam Kanakajalagathro Nila Sobhagya Netro Mrigamaravaravalu Malati Kundamalo Taruna Taruna Vesho Nilampitam Bharesho Smaraneni Brittani Kunje Radhika Krishna Chandro Vancha Kalpaturubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And then what's devotees? What is this? Okay. So the very first, I remember, I don't know how many years ago that was, but myself, Sanatan Prabhuji and his good wife, we went down to South Florida to where we used to do the Bhakti Intensive. And we decided every day that we would do class. And those classes were on the Catur Sloki. So, so that was the very first informal Bhakti Intensive. So I thought after many years I would do the Chatur Shloki again because Chatur Shloki is Srimad Bhagavatam. There's no difference between the 4 verses of Chatur Shloki and a couple of the preceding verses sets it up. And if you understand Chatur Shloki, then all Srimad Bhagavatam is present there. All Srimad Bhagavatam is present there. So Chatur Shloki is also called a sutra. Sutra means, in Sanskrit, it means like a thread that runs through something. But it also means it has particular characteristics. Is somebody?
I think the elevator is.
Oh, okay. It has, you don't have to close the door, you can leave it open. Oh, yeah. It has particular characteristics. And the characteristics of a sutra meant in Alpa Aksharam. So Alpa Aksharam means that it's limited amount of syllables that are used or consonants or letters that are used. So a minimal amount of information is given. But at the same time, Asadigham, that it has to be something that even though it's very shortly written, it has to be unambiguous. In other words, you have to be able to glean from that sutra, like I'm giving the example. Atato Brahma Jigyasya. This is a sutra which all knowledge of Vedanta Sutra, everything is in this one sutra. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to inquire about Brahman. So there in that sutra, even though it's only those 3 words, it indicates that right now, meaning the urgency of time in the human form of life, one should make the inquiry into the absolute truth. Absolute truth always covers 3 things. Who am I? What is the absolute truth? And what is my process for attaining realization of that? What's that called in Sanskrit? Sambandha, Abhidhamma Parojan. So throughout the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, those are the 3 things that are actually established. And every sutra has to be able to establish those three things. So it means that it has to be asandigham, means it cannot be ambiguous. Shravada means the full meanings of something have to be in that sutra that are in the broader spectrum of it. So in other words, if we make a statement, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, that statement, even though it's a short statement, it's called the Paribhas Sutra, actually in Bhagavatam. And that statement alone contains every single thing in the Srimad Bhagavatam as well. So the question could arise, well, then why do we need 18,000 verses, 335 chapters? Then you also need so many tikas, commentaries. Why, if those things are enough? The thing is that two things. One is that you need 18,000 verses because that was the epiphany or realization of Vyas. Understand? That was his realization that he manifested. And also, it's the ecstasy of the commentator. So all the commentators, beginning with Adi Sridhar Swami, Bhavarta Deepika, all of their ecstasies in reading and then commenting on what they're reading. But it's not like just academic. It's their realizations coming out in a tika. So that's why we have to have so many things. So everybody, Gurudev, why would he still need to be writing? Srila Prabhupada, why would he need to write any purport? Everything is already written. Understand? Still, their ecstasies come out, and what you're reading in their commentary or purport is their ecstasies. And in their ecstasies is the prabhav of the Swarup Shakti, meaning Ladini Vritti. Then, so any acharya, that's why it's considered extreme mercy when we get the commentaries of the acharyas, because not only their realizations are there, but the bliss they tasted in that realization is present. So when you read their commentary with the right mood, right? At that time, Haribo, somebody's got to mute out on the. Okay. So you also get the prabhav of that bliss if you are a proper hearer, because it's mentioned Satam Prasanga Mamaveya Samvido Bhavanti Rit Karana Rasanaya Kata. So what makes a proper hearer? When there's Prakrish Sangha. Prakrish Sangha means when the hearer is proper. They should be saranagat. They should be fully vested in the kata. Haribo, Haribo. They should be fully vested in the kata. And Satam, the sadhu, Jai Haribo. We can make some, we can put up here even. Yeah. So also, Satam, the speaker, Haribo Ramji. Will it fit up there nicely? Or no? This table right here. Or Haribo. Haribo. Haribo Fuji. Haribo. Haribo Abiram.
Do you want us to move the table next to you?
Yeah, you could. Haribo. Okay, everybody's coming in. So maybe we could use more chairs. Look, there's chairs there. There's more chairs. And we do Haribo, Haribo. The entire Cleveland crew is here. All right, devotees who are on the Zoom, just give us a minute. There's many devotees coming in. Yes, yeah, you can. Maharaj is not here. He's coming tomorrow or something. And there's also more chairs. Oh, I was looking for you. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and grab a seat so we can continue.
Yeah.
Haribo. It can stay there for now, Ram, actually. 'Cause, yeah, we'll move it after.
It's more here.
I'm getting small every day.
Haribo.
It's not like you need to forward.
He's transcended. Mhm. All right, Haribo, we're gonna go ahead and continue. Are you okay? Yeah? You okay? You can move into the carpet to sit. Also, Danya, others, it's more comfortable. This is why we left all this space.
You want us to? Yeah.
So we're speaking the verse then, Satam Prasanga Mamaveya Samviro, Vantirit Karana Rasanaya Kata. So Prakrasanga means when the Satam means the sadhu. if the sadhu has realization, meaning he has the realization coming from the Kripa of Bhagavan, then when that sadhu meets a genuine hearer, Shrota, and the heart portal between the sadhu and the hearer opens, at that time, Mama Virya. So Al Srila Prabhupada translated in his Bhagavatam the wonderful activities of Krishna. Why? Because mostly the sadhu is speaking Harikatha of Krishna, Krishna Lila, etc. But Mama Virya also in Sanskrit means my, Virya means Shakti, means Swarup Shakti. So in the Harikatha, Samvad of the sadhu, there is Swarup Shakti. And when the Swarup Shakti enters the heart, Bhavanti Rit means it doesn't need to pass through the air, be processed by the mind and the intelligence before it becomes effective. If you hear the Harikatha of any sadhu, genuine sadhu, Bhavanti Rit, it creates sporti in the heart. Sporti is of different degrees. Sporti doesn't always mean direct darshan Krishna. And since sporti also means sporti of a tattva is also there. So some realization becomes of that particular tattva. Jiva Goswami is written in Bhakti Sandarbha, Shravanam Doram Anubhuti Bhavati. If you hear properly, Anubhuti Bhavati means some realization comes in the heart, like a door opening and you're getting the vision of everything. Understand? Like this. So also that means that Savada, any sutra should have full meaning like that and have the power to communicate that. So any devotee, if they are deeply hearing and you hear Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, then you can get so many realizations from just hearing that one thing. Mhm. Also, it should be Vishwatamukam. It should be universally applicable. So I'm giving same example. Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. That's not varied only to our religion. Is Krishna tu Bhagavan Swayam also in Islam? Is it in Christianity? How many gods are there? One God. So it's only a question of nomenclature, understanding nomenclature, application of nomenclature. So Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam for us will mean there's a uniqueness about the nomenclature Krishna. Krishna is not different from Allah. It's not different from Yahweh. It's not different from other names of God, except that it gives the import of God personally. You understand? Just like at your job, somebody calls you Mr. So or Mrs. So. You understand? But at home, your first name is used, and then more affectionate, boo, darling, so many different things. You understand? So each name is indicative of the degree to which you have familiarity, depth of relationship with that person. So Krishna is the name which reveals the most intimate personal factor of the absolute truth. So Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swaya means for us that Krishna is not just our religion, but it's Krishna universally, meaning he's Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, everything. Understand? Also, Astobam, it has to be free. Like whenever a sutra is there, there's no alankara. Alankara means like an alliteration, right? There's no fillers. Like sometimes in a verse, to make the chandan or the meter work, they add a word. That's when you see words like a whole, etc. It's to make the meter proper. You understand? But in a sutra, it's not necessary. So no extra word or syllable or anything has to be added to make any meter possible. The sutra itself is what's important. And then finally, anavadyam, it has to be faultless. In other words, if it's examined or scrutinized under sastra, it has to be able to stand up. You cannot find a fault with it. You understand? So in this way, the Chatur Shloke are sutras from the first verse going. You understand? And in those sutras, it meets all of these 6 different qualifications. Therefore, it can be trusted that this, according to Sastra, is a sutra. It's not just somebody speaking a shortened version of Bhagavatam, right? Because if it's just a shortened version of Bhagavatam, something will be missing. You understand? Just like Vyasadeva, when he first wrote all Purans, and then Narada Muni came to some prasashram and he analyzed, oh, why you're feeling some despondent? What's wrong? So then Vyasadeva told, listen, you know better than I. You know better than I because you have the ability to see into the heart of everyone. You understand? Then not, oh, what is the problem? Gurudev used to say, you never describe the sweet pastimes of Radha and Krishna. You didn't describe the pastimes of Braj. What is Maya Shoda? What does Sakas? You never describe these things. So I asked Gurudev one time, because in the Padma Puran, in the Brahma Vaivat Puran, the narrations of Radha Krishna Lila are there. So I asked Gurudev, but how can we say it wasn't there? Gurudev said there was no context. Madhu Maharaj brought the word out. He said Gurudev told in Hindi the word in Madhu Maharaj told context. It means it described the Leela, but there's no context. What is the difference between Narayan and Krishna? What's the difference between Ram Leela and Krishna's Leela? So that context wasn't there. Especially in our line, the supremacy of Radha Prem was not manifest there. Understand? But when he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, after following the instructions of Nod, you understand? He did meditation, right? Bhakti Jogena Manasi Samyak Prative Amale Apashat Purusham Purnam Mayam Upasritam. When he did meditation under the instruction of Nod, that time Apashat Purusham Purnam, he saw everything, not meaning just that he had seen all the Leelas, but he saw everything in perspective. What is the superiority of Braj to Vaikuntha? What is the superiority of each rasa? Therefore, he glorified. If you look in Bhagavatam, Gurudev said it's not openly spoken, but whose name is everywhere in Bhagavatam? Radha. So in Anya Radhito Nunam, this shlok is open, but everywhere. Once Pujapat Tirtha Maharaj was staying at our home, he was doing the translation. And he said, anywhere you see the word bhakti means Radhika. Because Bhakti Devi is Radhika herself. So everywhere bhakti is mentioned, it means Radhika. You understand? Like this. Also, the Chatur Shloki is very unique because it is the origin of the question and answer system, right? Just like in the 8th chapter, right? We're in the 9th chapter of the second canto, but the 8th chapter, then Shukdev Goswami will begin to answer the questions that were posed to him by Maharaj Parikshit. All of those questions, those questions of the sages at Namisharanya, Sonaka and all the rishis there, to Sutta Goswami. All of these questions were about those three topics, even though they had so many varieties. They were about Sambandha, Abhidheya, and Parojan. When you go back and look in the questions, right, they all deal with only those three topics. Who am I? Who is Bhagavan? What is this world? Except all of them deal with those three things. So now, Shukadev goes, when he's going to answer Maharaj Parikshit, he tells him, these questions were already answered directly by Bhagavan himself. That comes into the 9th chapter. He answered these questions to Sri Brahmaji in the beginning of the creation. So who is the original guru? Sri Krishna himself. Understand? So he establishes that. Then they speak how Brahmaji's life, it's written in Brahma Samhita itself, his life is the sort of parallel to the Jiva's lives in this world. When Brahma appears, he appears both in physical and metaphysical darkness. Because he's born atop the lotus, coming from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, at that time, it's dark. The wind is blowing. So also, our acharyas mentioned that the blowing of the wind, the unstableness of the lotus, all of this symbolizes what happens when a person is in darkness or ignorance about something. When you're in anxiety about not knowing something, just like you get a diagnosis, right? First you go to hospital, okay, we're running the test. Are you in anxiety or not? Right? You're always in anxiety. What the test is going to come, because you don't know. That lack of knowledge creates anxiety. So Brahma, being in great anxiety, but not knowing anything, said the first thing we also have in this world is called ahamkara. What is the meaning of ahamkara? I am the doer. Aham, karana, and karata. I am the cause and the doer. So naturally, when you think you're the cause and the doer, you think, let me solve the problem. So then Brahma, he goes down to the bottom of the lotus, goes back to the top. Some acharyas say he repeated this process and continually look. They talk about how many celestial years that he went up and down the lotus trying to find out his origin and everything else. When he would go back to the top of the lotus, the swaying of the lotus, the darkness, confusion, that is exactly the nature of the Bhada Jiva in this world. Also, it parallels the birth of the Bhada Jiva in this world. Because coming from the womb, you're connected to the umbilical cord of the mom. But there's no consciousness of anything. What is this? Right? And in the womb, there was darkness, everything. So same way, Brahma atop the lotus is a parallel to that in the life of the Jiva. But then he hears two syllables. Two very, very important syllables. What are those syllables? Tapa. That's syllables that he heard. He had to have the beginning of bhakti. The first element of bhakti is what? Ado Shraddha. Why? Because he heard that and immediately could understand Saranagati. Understand? When he heard Pa, you have to have that faith. Because other than that, your next question would be, what does this sound? Where is it coming from? You understand? But he had faith, and because he had Shraddha, then Tapa revealed to him to do Saranagati. And Saranagati is the very first anga of bhakti. If there's no Saranagati, you cannot do bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj telling in the seventh canto, he's telling, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smanam Parasevanam Archanam Vandam Dasya Sakyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumza Prita Vishnu. You cannot do bhakti unless you're a Saranagat. And what is Saranagati? Surrender. Understand? Yes. So tell what this means. I'm going to repeat for them.
Yeah, but whichever is favorable with the bhakti, that one.
Yes. Vivajanam.
Whatever is
Unfavorable to move. So hold right there.
Okay.
So first two things, the very first thing in Saranagati is called prapati. Prapati means the inner desire to do surrender. If there's no desire to do surrender, that means there's no heart connected to Anukuyasya Sankalp and Pratikuyasya Vivajanam. I may follow it just out of ritual. If there's a desire to do those things, then there's an emotional content invested. Oh, I will do what is favorable for Krishna. I will avoid what is unfavorable. You understand? Because you can follow any religion just by ritual. Yeah, my father did this. My grandfather did this. Their great-grandfather did it. I'm also following. Right? Rather, even if you may not believe it. You understand? But prapati means by faith, I've come to understand I want to do this thing. My emotional content is invested there. You understand? That's truly called Sanagdi. Somebody on the Zoom has to mute out. Haribol? Okay. Take Harinam and Harikata all at the same time. Sometimes good, not always. So you have to have the emotional content. I want this one. It's called prapati. Then the emotional investment in surrendering. I want to surrender. You understand? Just like in the Western world, we had a thing called shotgun marriage. It's not in India, but in the Western world, that's what they're laughing. Right? You meet the girl, and the father comes saying, hey, now you're going to marry my daughter. Yeah, by force. Right? So there's no emotional investment, but by force you have to do. So similarly, sometime when we were growing up here, our parents told, yeah, we're going to church on Sunday. No kid wants to go to church. By force you have to go. Understand? But in Saranagati, it is different. Prapati means it won't be true Saranagati till I have the desire. I want to serve Bhagavan. Okay. Understand? Then the manifestation of that is called Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Vibhajan.
Prapati comes from sanskar or from
faith. Faith, Adoshradha. Born from that faith is a desire how I will execute my faith. I've heard Harikatha. I have the influence of any sadhu. How will I execute this? Oh, you have to do bhakti. How will I do bhakti? Guru Padasraya, etc. Guru Padasraya means Saranagati.
So it's kripa.
Kripa. It's creep. Well, it's also, but it's because this is where the free will idea comes in. Okay. Free will in the jiva is not taken away because free will is an important ingredient. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in praying. In loving God, you have to do that voluntarily. You cannot be forced. You understand? It's not a consequence. It's just a natural arrangement that if you don't want to love God, you have to love this world, and therefore you have to be in this world. So that's not a punishment or anything. That's just the natural situation. If you get on a down escalator, it goes down. So, like that. So here, Sarnagati, then Anukuyasya Sankalpa, Pratikuyasya Vivajanam are the only two things that the jiva can do. You don't have power to do anything beyond doing what is favorable by your desire, and ultimately that's the super soul. I don't want to do bad things. You're praying for the mercy of Guru Parampara, and ultimately Antaryami, a super soul. they give you Shakti. Okay, you don't have to do these bad things. Pratiguyas Vivajanam, even if I had the habit of doing bad things. That tendency, Jiva Goswami said, is called Kadarya Shil, the tendency to do bad things. And therefore, Diksha especially is meant to take away that. That's the meaning of Shiyate Papanasan, to take away that tendency. It removes sins, but also takes away the tendency to commit them, right? So those two things are the only thing the Jiva can do. The next line in Saranagati is
Rakshiti Vishwasho Bhog Tritya Varnam Tata.
Rakshiti Vishwas. Vishwas means a conviction.
Yeah.
What is the conviction? Vishwa, and also in the word Vishwas is Shwas. Shwas means to breathe. So the same conviction, I'm going to take my next breath. Is the next breath guaranteed?
No.
Next breath is not guaranteed. But we all have the, I'm going to take notes in the class because we have a feeling I'm going to have my next breath. So that same kind of conviction is there that Bhagavan will both protect my bhakti and maintain it. Therefore, one name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Vishwambar. And when you chant your Anik, you chant Vishwambaraya. You understand? It's taking shelter of Mahaprabhu, that Mahaprabhu will protect and maintain my bhakti. Why? Because Mahaprabhu has come himself. Apni karimu bhakti bhav angikari. Mahaprabhu now has the empathy of the jivas. Krishna cannot truly have empathy of the plight of the jivas in this world. You understand? Therefore, when he comes as Mahaprabhu, Rakshik Shekara Parama Karum. You understand? Because now in the mood of a devotee, he has empathy with the plight of the Bada Jivas in this world.
Yeah.
You understand? Therefore, he makes the vow, Vishrambaraya. I will empower their upasan, because our mantras are our upasan, means our worship. You understand? I will empower that by entering it myself and give the power to that devotee to do that upasan. Understand? Oh. Confirmation. Yeah, I thought that was a hotel phone. All right, y'all cut that out in that room down there. People upstairs are getting nervous and So then Mahaprabhu will empower that upasana. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Sanatana Goswami mentions upasana nusareno date Bhagavan hi phalam. Bhagavan is awarding your goal based on the upasana that you do. You understand? What worship you're doing, Krishna is giving the result. That's the meaning of Yayatam Pajate, Tamsatava Bhajamyam. In Bhagavad Gita, he's saying also. Yeah. But he's mentioning, I'm going to reward your upasan, I'm going to give the result of that. Understand? So Mahaprabhu himself enters that upasan in the Gaur mantra and Gaur Gayatri. But to get to Mahaprabhu, whom will you go through? Therefore, first Guru Saranagati and Guru Mantra. You understand? Some devotees ask about Brahma Gayatri. Brahma Gayatri, actually, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced Brahma Gayatri in our line. Everybody knew this or not? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur introduced the Brahma Gayatri to prove that anybody who comes to Vaishnav Dharma is a Brahmin. He gave a very famous lecture called Brahmin and Vaishnavas. There was a book written on that lecture. So to prove that anyone coming to the path of Vaishnavism, truly, they're already Brahmin. And he quotes many sastric evidence for this, etc., etc. Understand? So for this reason, Brahma Gayatri is there. But originally it was not part of the mantras in the Gaudiya line. All the mantras in Gaudiya line are taken from Vaishnav Tantra. So Gaur mantra was there because who is it? Mahaprabhu tested one person. Who was that? Who used to take everyone to Puri every year? Shivananda Shain. Shivananda Shain, that was his mantra. Was the Gaur Gopal mantra. And actually, when one devotee was saying that he was completely empowered by Mahaprabhu, he said, I'll know you're empowered by Mahaprabhu if you can tell me my mantra. Because mantra should be gupt. It should be hidden. So he told him, yes, you're chanting the Gaur Gopal mantra. So it's proof that that mantra was already existing there. You understand? Our Guru mantra, Guru Gayatri, also exists in Vaishnav Tantra. Understand? But Mahaprabhu only chanted one mantra. What mantra he chanted? Da Sakshara mantra, the last part of Gopal mantra. He only chanted. So the very last words. No. mentions each chant, the last part of Gopal mantra. Here's the interesting thing. Kam Gayatri is the realization of Gopal mantra. You understand? From Gopal mantra, Kam Gayatri is realized. So really, it's not like two different mantras. It's that by chanting Gopal mantra like Brahma did, he heard the Gopal mantra from Divya Saraswati, which I'm going to go into next. And from that, he realized the flute song of Krishna as Kam Gayatri. So the Gopal mantra is the sort of step into the realization of Kam Gayatri. Understand? Then Chaitanya Charitamrita is telling what is Kam Gayatri. Apakrita, Vrindavane, Apakrita Navina Madan, Kam Beach, Kam Gayatri, Yanra Upasan. It is the Upasan particularly for Madhurya Rasa. So if you were trying to figure out what rasa meant, etc., then you have to look at the upasan that you're doing, the practice you're doing. Just like I always give the example, if you meet someone and you say, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm in my third year of law school. Oh, you're going to be a plumber? Yes, it doesn't line up. So if you're chanting 30, 40 years the Kam Gayatri mantra, pretty much guaranteed that you're going to Braj, and for the most part, mostly are going to be in Madhurya Ras. Now, that could be in Priyanama Sakya Ras also. Therefore, in our line, in the traditional lines, two things are prominent. Manjari Bhav and Priyanama Sakya Bhav. These are two prominent in our line. So now, Brahmaji, on top of this lotus, after hearing Tapa, he gets a realization. How does he get this realization? Because in the Tapa itself, which is the 16th and the 21st syllables of these Sanskrit Vagas, understand? He gets an understanding. What? The Tavaga. Ta, ta, da, na. This is the Vaga. Vaga means like yeah. And then the next one is going to be pa, pa, ba, ba, ma. Understand? So what is it though? So Jiva Goswami Pad, in his Harinam Amrita Vyakaran, it's his book on Sanskrit grammar. He explains everything in relation to the names of Krishna. So he explains, Ta here means Bhagavan. Ta, that, Bhagavan. Who, Ta, right? Who gives protection to all. Da, that Bhagavan who gives protection to all also shows great mercy. Doya. And Da. He dharan. He maintains and holds all the devotees. So he's protecting our devotion, protecting even all the other Bada Jivas. He's also protecting. Understand? And Na. Na means, and he negates. What does he negate? Pavaga. Pa, ba, ma. So the pavaga means, pa means parishram. Parishram means the endeavors of the material world. And but in the material world, because it is not natural to the jiva, it's always a struggle. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that the jivas are struggling with the material energy. Prakriti stani karshiti. They're struggling with the material energy. So every time we're in the material world in any karmic iteration, it's never going to be just smooth. Always some problem will be there. Sickness, aryatmik klesh, means those coming from your own body and mind. Adibautik klesh, those coming from others. The next door neighbor who I don't like, they don't like me. Then adidaivik klesh. We came to have a wonderful feast and then all of a sudden it started raining. So all of these you cannot do. You cannot remove them. Plus, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi, birth, old age, disease, and death, you cannot remove it. And nobody wants any of those things. If there's any sign up, we're selling birth, old age, disease, and death, out of business 2 days only. Understand? Nobody wants these things. But still, it's mentioned that just like Sukha comes, Sukh comes, right? Dukkam, Yata, Dukkam, Ayatnaha. Automatically misery comes. It's not something you can negotiate. I only want Sukh. Oh, how much does that cost? You understand? There's no arrangement for that. Prahlad Maharaj was teaching to his friends and he mentioned, Shukam labhyate dhaivad. By your karmic destiny, you'll get a certain amount of happiness. But yata dukkam ayatnaha. Even if ayatnaha means you don't endeavor for it, you're going to get misery. So like that, pa means the material world and all the miseries there. Pa means, Pa means faina, foam. And it means the result that comes from the struggle with the material world. Hmm? And then ba. Ba means the bondage or bondage, right? It means that you cannot. Here's the thing about bondage. It's not the bondage itself, it's the fact that you can't get yourself out of it. Understand? Because the jiva of their own can't extricate yourself from Maya. This is mentioned in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. Anadi avidya yuktasha purushasha vedatmanam swato na sambhavanti anya. You cannot remove yourself from Maya. Just like quicksand. Everybody know what the quicksand? If you go into quicksand, can you get yourself out? No. You cannot. It requires somebody to come, extend the rope to you, pull you out. And what happens the more you try? You go deeper. So in the material world, there are 5 features that are attached to material life. Material life itself is called avidya. It means the lack of knowledge of my real nature, which gives then an artificial nature called asmita. In Sanskrit, asmi means I am, like Tavaiv asmi, Tavaiv. Asmi means I am, ita means a condition. A condition in which you think I'm something other than the servant of Krishna is called asmita. As soon as that takes place, a duality happens. Icha dvesha samutitvena dvandva mohena bhata, Bhagavad Gita is saying. As soon as you are not understanding I'm the das of Krishna, duality arises. What duality? Rag and dvesh. Something is good, something's not good. In the soul, is there any duality, good and bad? Therefore, the soul is Satchit, Anand. No mention here of Dukh or anything. It's only Satchit, Anand. You understand? So there is no duality of Rag and Dvesh, something's good, something's bad. The last thing is called Abhinivesh. Abhinivesh means an inextricable absorption in the material world that you cannot break yourself. So Anya here means Ganatua, Ganadobhavet means only Sadhu Guru can now, like in the quicksand, pull you out and establish you again back in your constitutional position. So this is the meaning of bondage. The result of bondage is naturally fear. Bhayam dviti abhiniveshata syat. As soon as this duality arises, there's a confusion about my real identity. And like we talked about with Lord Brahma atop the lotus, anytime there's confusion or something, just like when I was working many years ago, we had to do our qualification 4 times a year. So you go and you're shooting. At that shooting range, there are like houses not too far away. And one lady actually complained to the city. She was saying every day these police people coming and they're shooting, and then I get ready to take my breakfast and spill everything. So she was complaining because every time you hear the gunshots, she's jerking. So like this, immediately when there's some unknown variable of any kind, we become a little nervous. If all of a sudden the lights go out, I remember I was a small child, and unfortunately I was in the barbershop, and the first New York City blackout happened. I'm older, so but the whole city, what you can't imagine, all the lights in the city went out. That's unheard of. So first, everybody was just very quiet. Nobody was saying anything. He was only halfway cutting my hair, by the way. So, it was a very unique haircut. I may have started a style back then. I don't even know. But anyway, all the lights in the city to go out at one time, that's unusual. So first, everything was very quiet. And then suddenly you heard like, the Martians are coming. People were running down the street. And then somebody else said, we're at war, so all kinds of things, people full of anxiety because of not knowing. So bhaya, or fear, is the natural result of our material conditioning and being bound in this world. Why? What is it that we don't know when we're bound in this world? Who we actually are. This is actually a state in which you really don't know who you are. So that absence of that knowledge, in the Bhakti Sandarbha, also Jiva Goswami is mentioning there, Maya Avrita Surupa Jnananam. The knowledge of your nature is covered. And because it is covered, a natural anxiety is there. That's the meaning of the verse, Bhayam Dviti Abhinaveshatasyat. There's a certain kind of anxiety that naturally arises because I'm not in my natural reality. I'm identifying with something I'm not. and therefore naturally anxious about stuff. Even you see people have wealth, family. I remember also while I was working, sometimes in a part-time job, we would get what's called security details for people, very wealthy people. They hire people to protect them. And you could see you have so much money. You have all the things that you wanted, big house, car, everything else, but you're afraid to go down the block to the store. Understand? Somebody may kidnap me. Somebody may get my family, something. So they pay so much money. Oh, oh, no, not Vina. Vina is not free. Oh, security people. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember actually when I was working, we used to have various jobs, but sometimes a lot of the politicians would come. And one time, Winnie Mandela came here. At the time that she came here, Nelson Mandela was not the president of South Africa. So the State Department would not give her a security detail. So then she hired us, and it's very expensive to hire security detail to be with you all day long and so forth, so on. But she hired security detail because they're afraid something may happen here. Even though her husband's such a powerful figure in the world, still she had to be afraid to come to America and so forth, so on. Understand? So this is the natural fear that comes from bondage. And finally, ma. Ma means mrityu, means death. So the greatest fear that everybody has in the world of bondage among the conditioned soul is the fear of death. Gurudev used to always say very boldly, don't be afraid of death. Step on the head of, he made all the time he would say this. You understand? This is the truth. And we're scared. But this is the interesting thing. Now, also, we've dedicated this whole intensive to our Induleka Didi. Understand? Because she recently had her transition. And at the time she was transitioned, what you can see is the people who are still alive are more afraid than the people who are leaving. You know why this is? Because the soul, when it realizes that this body is in trauma, and of course, we have so many doctors in the house. Both the Pandays are both doctors. So you can know that anytime anybody, for instance, if they have any trauma to the body, right, and they start to fall asleep, people say, stay with us, stay awake. The reason is because the soul naturally is starting to withdraw from the unusability of that body. So you kind of want to go to sleep, you kind of want to just get away from the trauma, right? Especially we've seen that when people, unfortunately, in the police department, things happen. So you see people who've been shot or something. And when you go to them and you want to render aid, one of the first things you have to stay with us. Stay with us. Ambulance is on the way. Because you'll see them start to close their eyes. Hemorrhaging is also an issue, right? But they start to close their eyes because you also want to get away from the pain, everything else. So the soul naturally withdraws from the body when it's under duress. So you saw that in Indu's passing, as it got more severe, and obviously pain came more and more. Obviously, they have to administer things that will calm the pain and everything. But you can also see her detachment start to take place more and more from that body, because now that body is no more usable to the soul. So she's withdrawing naturally from the body. But who's most affected? Those around. You understand? That's why at any antyesti means the final rites. When you pass this world, they're going to do your, in English, funeral rites. In Vedic culture, they ask that you do not cry during the antyesti itself. After the body's into cremation, everything, then you can have some lamentation. Understand? Only for guru, acharya, etc., openly lamenting, because that lamentation will be connected to your spiritual dynamic. If you lament to any person, relative, friend, etc., in this world, those tears and those feelings actually shackle the soul from feeling free to go. You understand? And they'll hang around the round and so forth, so on. Normally, whenever anybody leaves this world, whatever body in their karmic iteration is, it's already ready. Whatever their next karmic iteration is, that body's already ready. You understand? But if you're holding the soul back, oh, my loved one, oh, please, my dear, oh, my darling child, then that actually is holding that soul from leaving. Because what do people think about most even when they're leaving? I'm ready to give up this body. It's full of pain, this and that. But what about my husband? What about my child? But they're also thinking like this. You understand? Now, for devotees, it's unique because the question came up, well, what happens at the time of death then if you don't think about Krishna? Because you have to think about Krishna at the time of death, right? And if you don't chant at the time of death, you may miss your opportunity. You didn't get the lottery. You understand? But it's not true. Not true. Actually, in the Varaha Purana, it's mentioned there Yadi vata ari doshena mad bhakta na mam smaret. At the time when you're leaving this world, the bodily doshas in Ayurveda, they have vata, pitta, kapha, they'll be all disturbed. You may not be of clear mind. So he's saying you may not submit. But then Krishna says, Aham smarami mad bhakta. But I will remember you. I'll remember my devotee. And Nayami, param gatim. I'll bring them to the supreme destination.
Sloki Prabhuji have told before
Mhm.
about the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yam yam smapi smaram bhavam. Tajayate kalevaram. The last line says, Sada tad bhava bhavita. Krishna is going to take what bhav has accumulated in your consciousness at the time of leaving. He's not going to say, well, let me do the calculations here. He was Krishna conscious for 3 months, but then he had to fall off, and they're not doing, there's no quality control people like that. You understand? So they'll look at the totality of the accumulation of your bhakti at that time and make a suitable arrangement in the next iteration to continue from there. Rupa Goswami wrote this in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Praktanak aduni chasti yatsat bhaktivasan. Your previous bhakti samskars are never lost. Whatever you've done in bhakti in this life, in the next life, you'll exactly pick up from that point going. Yes.
When you were speaking about how
I'll repeat the question.
then he had an emotional to surrender.
Surrender. No, it's that in the life of Brahma, you can say, because to become a Brahma, you have to have so many pious samskars. You understand? But here also, it is mostly the Kripa Shakti of Bhagavan. Because you cannot get what Brahma is going to get from samskars. Remember, it says that ultimately to get Krishna praying, can you get that from samskars? Krishna's mercy only. Understand? Guru, Krishna's mercy. Right? So in this case, at that time, you may not be fully conscious to chant, oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. May be very fortunate. This is also why devotees, during the Yasti, they're all around and they're chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then if some maturation is there, devotees will know to sing, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, Shai Mora Shampada, Shai Mora Bhajana Pujan. All of my bhajan and puja was to obtain the mercy of Rupa Goswami, who's Rup Manjari. So devotees knowing this, they'll sing the songs that are Uripan for you. Palyadashi Kori, Lalito Sundari. They'll sing all the bhajans that are appropriate to your mood to help you transition. So we also did for Indu. Understand? Because it should not be that a devotee, especially practicing so many years, there's ambiguity about what's going to happen next. You understand? You should know I'm practicing. I will move closer to the goal that I was aiming at. This is why Sambandha Gyan is so important. And that's why Sambandha is included among the most important things that are discussed in every sastra, in every single part of our worship, everything else. In the mantras we chant, how many people here have Diksha before I start speaking elaborately? So the majority. So Diksha means the second initiation, so to speak, right? Harinam is first initiation. You have Harinam. Okay. So first is Harinam, and Harinam, it establishes you're the Das or Dasi of Krishna. So you get a name. Ram Das. You understand? Means establishing that he's the Das of Krishna. You understand? So, but that is a constitutional reality. That's not a specific reality. We're all human beings. But among all the human beings, Sita is his wife and Abhiram is his son. You understand? So there's specificity even within the human dynamic. Constitutionally, we're all human beings. But within that, there's specific relationships. So at the time of Diksha, a specific relationship is given. It illuminates in your heart, oh, I am Krishna's Das or Dasi as a cowherd boy, or as like Mother Yashoda Maharaj Nanda, or as a servant of Radhika, etc. So that's given in a seed form in the mantras. So when you chant the mantras over the course of time, in connection with Harinam, that unfolds in the same way that you meet somebody in the material world. You meet somebody, hi, how are you? Yes. Then you exchange numbers. Then you start calling. And then you go date. So like this, a relationship with Bhagavan is developed. That's why I'm always telling people, we talk about the material world, don't let me lose my subject here. We talk about the material world as always being very miserable. But actually, the Shristi Leela, it's called Shristi Leela. It is a pastime of Bhagavan. And what is it for? To fall in love with all the Bada Jivas who were here. That's what the whole material world is for. To give you a chance, and Bhagavan has now the ability to fall in love with all these Bada Jivas. Now you have to choose, just like in the world, you cannot say, I love you, so we have to be married. It doesn't work like that, right? You also have to say, I love you too. So in the same way, Bhagavan, he shows his love. How? He comes in so many incarnations. Then finally he comes in the incarnation of Guru, but even before that, Mahaprabhu. He himself comes as a devotee. He's in the Paramatma. And every life that you've had, right? I'm not making jokes. My wife will go with me anywhere. Understand? But there are some limits. or is there no limits? I'm checking. I was just checking. So there's limits. But Antaryami has limits?
No.
You dog body was there. Hog body is also there. Human body, but nonsense person is also there. So Antaryami has not made any limits. Who has loved you like that? Nobody. Always limits. Even very good relationship. Parent and child. Child raising very nicely, everything else, but it's independent. Can the child make decision later? I don't want to be a good child? Yes. Understand? So you cannot control. But Super Soul has never abandoned the Jiva. Every life, every iteration, no matter what, the Super Soul has been there. Then on top of that, to help you, the Super Soul manifests Jive Sakshat Nai Chaitya Guru Rupe. Krishna Siksha Guru Hoy Mahant Swarupe. That praying Super Soul manifests externally as Guru. How much love is that? Understand? So this whole material world is really the love relationship between the Jivas and Bhagavan. So now,
Sorry.
Mhm.
When we talk about tapa, the tha, the dha, na, it's mostly saying that if you don't do like Bhagwan Sharan, or like then you will get all this parishram and bondage and and that's the how we should relate this.
This is how it should be understood. But from one other side is that the Tavarga, no, Bhagavan will remove all of those things. Ta means Bhagavan. Ta means protection.
Protection.
Yeah. THA, protection. The mercy of Bhagavan protecting the devotee.
What is in Sanskrit? Tha.
No, just the syllable, Jiva Goswami.
Okay.
He's taken each of these and attributed a quality of Krishna to it. So when you're studying Sanskrit grammar, then everything you'll study will become Krishna rather than just dry academic grammar. And for me, grammar in Sanskrit is like a nightmare. So, even using that book, it's also difficult.
So in the sense, the varga is like when you
Bhagavan's protection.
yeah, okay.
Daya, Bhagavan's mercy. DHA, Dharan. Bhagavan is holding and protecting. No, he's going to remove pa, yes, ba, ma. He'll remove the struggle in the material world, the disease and pain that comes from that, and the fear that comes from that, the bondage that comes from that,
Okay.
and he'll even remove death.
Okay.
Who can remove death except Bhagavan?
Mm.
Because now are we dying or not?
Yeah.
No.
No?
We are taking
No, not even maybe that. Because what happens when you come to Bhagavan, he removes that avidya and lets you know who are you. Who died? Second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, no, you never died.
Yeah.
You understand? So he's making that transition to that understanding. I am the soul. I cannot be burned by fire, withered by the wind. All second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Understand? More than that, you can become my friend, my lover, etc. You understand? So that is who actually we are. And Bhumipati always makes a statement which is wonderful. He says, you don't have a soul. You are the soul. You have a body. Because the body is dispensable, but the soul is who you actually are. So now we've gone through that. Brahma understood tapa. When he understood tapa, he began meditating. From his saranagati, so many realizations began to come. Finally, he hears the transcendental sound of the Gopal mantra from Divya Saraswati. Divya Saraswati here means the Prakash of Shrimati Radharani. Means a part of Shrimati Radharani gives this transcendental mantra, because the Gopal mantra ultimately reveals Palyadasi Bhav to Radhika. I have to explain some siddhants, I have to mention some things in the mantra. So Gopi Janavalabhaya Swaha. Swaha means my own self, I'm giving fully. Gopi Janavalabhaya. Gopi Janavalabhaya has two meanings here. Krishna is actually the Vallabh of all gopis, no question. But especially to those who serve Radhika, who is Vallabh for them? Radhika. And by serving Radhika, they're serving Krishna. Raghunath Das Goswami is mentioned in Manasiksha, Marisha Natadve, Rajavipina Chandravrane, Sarim Natadve. Because Marisha Natadve, my Swamini Radhika, her lover, her prananath is Krishna, therefore I'm also serving Krishna.
We only serve Krishna because he is the prananath
Of Radhika. Understand? This is a mood. This is a mood. So in tattva means in philosophy, Krishna's God. We're all serving God. But in mood, in rasa vichar it's called, then those who are serving Radhika as manjaris, they have this mood. And it's written, Sanchari Sat Samunava, Krishna Rati Surirati, Pushamana Sarikascha, Babulas Itirite. So Babulas means manjari bhav. What does that manjari bhav do? It is a permanent kind of sanchari, means a particular mood that continuously comes. What is that mood? That, by serving my Saki, Radhika, then my serving Krishna is Pushamanas means nourished. Like it's not, I won't feel happiness serving Krishna without Radhika. Understand? Pushamanas Adhikas means, and it exceeds my desire to directly serve. Now, in a spiritual context, that's perfect. For ordinary person, not understanding any tattva vichar, you cannot digest this thing. No, but Krishna's God. No, we have to serve God. Like even when we first came to the movement and people ask, who is Radharani? What was the answer? She's the greatest devotee of Krishna. No, Krishna is the greatest devotee of Radha. Actually, you understand? That's the real understanding. You understand? He's admitting himself. You understand? Because he comes as Mahaprabhu to prove this point. Shri Radha Pranaya Mahima Kidiso Vanyeva. Her pranay, her love is so great, I want to experience it. If you're Bhagavan, the very nature of being Bhagavan means you have Sad Aishwarya Purna. You have 6 opulences in full. You should be fully happy. What else do you need? You understand? But he's telling, what I need is to understand what is the greatness of her love. You understand? I have unique qualities. Krishna has 4 unique qualities, and the way that Radharani experiences them, Krishna himself can't understand it. So I want to know how to experience that. And Shokim Chasya, when she becomes happiness, it seems like billions of times more than mine. I want to know that. You understand? So for this reason, Shri Radha Pranay Vikriti Ladini Shakti Asmad, that curiosity about that love is what causes the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You understand? He's not just another avatar. He's the product of the depth of what is the love of Radhika, and the person who's the sort of object of her love, he wants to know what that feels like. That is the cause of the appearance of Mahaprabhu. Huh? So Brahma now hears from Divya Saraswati the Gopal mantra. When he chants the Gopal mantra,
Saraswati is different than the Saraswati.
Very different. Divya Saraswati means the Prakash of Radhika. In this world, Saraswati, whom everybody goes to before your child goes to school, everything, Prakasha of Mahamaya. She's the goddess of material learning. Not the same. So at a Chudakarna, they pierce the ear before a child goes to school and all that, the first alphabet writing, they appeal to Prakat Saraswati, means material Saraswati. Oh, bless my child with very good intelligence, mind everything, do good in school, everything else. Any mantra, spiritual mantra, has to come from Divya Saraswati. So that Divya Saraswati gave Brahma the Gopal mantra. Upon realizing Gopal mantra, Krishna appeared to him. Priya Priyam Karana Sparsha. He appeared and touched the hand of Brahma. In Srila Prabhupada's purport, he said they shook hands. So I had to go for a long time and look in the commentaries because the way it's written says, and then Krishna appeared and shook Brahma's hand. You understand? So it's like, I was like, hey, what's up? How you doing? You trying to put it in your mind. High five. You understand? Trying to put it in your mind what that is. So Priya Priyam Eva Karana Sparshe means that sparsh means to touch. So it means, but the acharyas mentioned the indication is because saying karana sparsh means your hand. Karana sparsh means touching the hand, means he showed intimacy to Brahma that's based in the realization of the Gopal mantra. Because that means that Narayan did not tell Brahma Catur Sloki. Who told him Catur Sloki? Krishna. That's why when he wrote Brahma Samhita, he didn't write Narayan. He wrote Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Now you understand how it begins to make sense. Because it was Krishna who appeared to him, and in that verse, it indicates by intimacy, because with Narayan, you cannot have intimate mood like that. Only Dasya mood. So Krishna personally came, gave him intimate touching to let him know, yes, Krishna is going to speak to you. This Chatur Shloki. You understand? So he realized that in the Gopala mantra. Upon realizing that, he then heard the sound cling. So what does this cling? It is a beach, but kalam bamadrisam manoharam. It is the flute sound of Krishna. Kalam bamadrisam manoharam. You okay? You know what it is? Right here, this first door? No, on that side. So kalam. Kala means Ka means in Krishna. La means Radhika. But here in Sanskrit, if you look at it, Bamadrisa means E. Yes. E. So the long E. Like if you see here in this book, that's the long E. E. Means Radhika. Ishwari. Radhika. Ishwari Radhika. Krishna Ishwari Radhika. Huh? Ka means Krishna. Bamadrisham. Bama means left side. Bamadrisham. And that is the name of the fourth vowel. E in Sanskrit. So that's why it's cling. Because when you see it written out, that has that Sanskrit vowel. Right. So cling. And because of Anuswar, the M sound is NG sound. Right? So for those who have Diksha, you should know this. Because it's not klim. Cling. Yeah, Anuswar means in Sanskrit, the grammar makes it that sound becomes like NG, not M. So this is the sound of Krishna's flute. When Krishna, Radha, and the Jiva and Prem, the same as the Omkar. Omkar Bij, the same thing. So where would I get this from? Because anybody will ask, you have to have Praman. So the Omkar is written in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Akara Krishna, Ukara Radha, Makara Jiva. The Chandra Bindi means Prem. Or Langan Chun. So that Bij is everything in a nutshell about what is love of God, what is Bhagavan, what's the nature of all of that is in that one sound. From that Bij, the mantra unfolded. I cannot say the mantra here, obviously, but the whole Kam Gayatri mantra unfolded. Brahma realized that after having realized Gopal mantra, because he realized his Sambandha.
Gopal also got Gopal mantra.
He also only got Gopal, and then you realize Kam Gayatri from that. Understand? So once he realized the Kam,
first spoken by Radharani.
yes, that's written in one Tika. Yeah, that Radharani first speaks the Gopal mantra. It's written there. Divya Saraswati is the Prakasha. So it says Radharani is giving. Right? So now, after that, and then hearing the Kam Gayatri, Brahma has full realization. So now Krishna comes and he's going to explain those mantras in 4 verses that cover Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. This is the origin of Chatur Shloki. Understand? Now, Brahma, once he's realized, he has some questions. So he's going to ask the Lord, which will start tonight. He's going to ask the Lord 4 questions. To answer those 4 questions, the Lord recites 4 verses. This is called Catur Sloki. Understand? So any questions or comments? Mhm.
Why in the Sloki.
I'll repeat the questions.
Yam Vijam Pramana
Apayita Krityam. Mhm.
Mother Saraswati is mentioned after Narayana Rishi when
No,
that-
no, that's Narayan.
No. Narayanam namaskritya naram chavo narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. In normal
oh, yeah,
etiquette, you should acknowledge before reading any sastra, you should acknowledge the author, the meter of the sastra, etc., etc. So in there, it's acknowledging various elements of Bhagavatam. One is Nara Narayan Rishi. Nara Narayan Rishi is symbolic of Arjuna and Krishna, but it's also symbolic of the jiva's inherent relationship with Bhagavan, constitutionally. Nara Narayan means the jiva can have any independent existence? No. So in that verse is saying that Nara and Narayan are inextricable. Bhagavan and the jivas, they're not, you can't separate. There's no separate existence of the jiva. But by saying Nara Uttama, but the Uttam position of Nara is when they're connected to Bhagavan. Understand? This is the whole meaning of Nara and Narayan. Namaskritya means I'm offering obeisances to that position. Narayanam namaskritya, naram chaiva. Chaiva means I'm offering to and to, it's going to say and to Saraswati, etc. But Nara Uttam means that Nara, who has obtained Uttam status by being related to Bhagavan, I'm offering my respects, namaskar to them, and to Saraswati. Why? Because Saraswati is the divine power to allow you to understand what is Srimad Bhagavatam. If you don't get Bhakti Shakti, you won't understand Bhagavatam. And where does Bhakti Shakti come from? Srimati Radhika. And Srimati Radhika, when she's disseminating knowledge, she is called Divya Saraswati.
Thank you. So whole Chaturvi Sloki is like realization of Brahma in the form of Kam Gayatri.
No, that Brahma's life parallels the unfoldment of the jiva. We're born into this world, we're born in darkness and ignorance, and then gradually by the mercy of Guru, right? But in order to receive the mercy of Guru, Guru Padasraya is the same thing as Saranagati. You have to surrender to Guru, taking shelter of Guru, then Guru gives Tasmat Diksha Shikshadi. They give mantra and they give shiksha in that mantra. Then he shook hands with Brahma. Visrambena Guru Seva. Because now when there's Visrambena Seva, the portal between the heart of Guru and heart of the Sishya opens. If Guru is kept on reverence, then that portal will only remain as far as Dasya Rasa is concerned. This is how Acharyas are telling. Yeah. If the portal remains only in on reverence, Krishna's Bhagavan, and the Guru is also Sakshariri, Dvena, Samasa, like Bhagavan. You understand? How you know, how you learn what is intimacy of love. To Bhagavan only you'll do seva. So that's why for many devotees, just spend like, I'll do different sevas, different sevas, different sevas. But how you develop bhajan to love Bhagavan? That has to come from Vishrambena Guru Seva. So then Guru, in that intimacy, when they do siksha of the diksha, means they give you the love, the process, they do siksha in that. When there's a transmission between the two, the heart portals are open, that mood comes in your heart. Understand? That mood comes in your heart, and that mood begins to fructify. Now, in previous lives also, that was already developing. If you are here right now today, Bhava Apavaga, I'm going to read that verse here because it's very important. Oh, I know by heart. Bhava Aparaga Abrahmato Yadi Bhavaj. Janasha Tarihi Achuta Sat Sangamaha. If you've gotten this kind of Sangha of Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, already you're near the end of your sojourn in this material world. Bhava Apavarga, you are already on Apavarga path near the end. Bhagavatam is telling. If not, you could not hear these things. You understand? And this is one of the things I've been telling devotees when I travel. You have to see the process and listen to it. You have to see it and listen to it. Devotees are thinking, how do I know where I am? How do I know if I'm advancing? The process itself is telling you. You understand? So many people think, like, if you ask anybody, how did you come to Krishna consciousness? Bhakti, how did you join Krishna consciousness? Huh? Oh, well, see, just no cut cards. Yeah, I had prasadam. He's also a very excellent cook. Right? So that makes sense, right? Right? Now, it appears that I came from prasadam. You understand? But I actually did have some genuine, spiritual thing. But anyway, but here's the idea. Right? And also the Cleveland devotees are here. So yeah, that's like prasadam loka. It's the only place you can go. It's the only place you can go and have lunch at 1 o'clock, a feast, and then 3 hours later, you go to someone else's house and you have the dinner feast. You understand? So anyway, and then I had to tell the wife, don't even talk because normally I do intermittent fasting on this. Don't even worry about it. Just don't even think about it. Right? It's not going to work here. All right? Understand? But anyway, the devotees, when you ask them how they joined, they'll give you a history in this particular life. Oh, I was at college and then I heard the kirtan party and then I thought it was interesting and I went and I visited the temple. Then I started going regularly. Is that how you came? Maybe for some person. For majority of people, some scars. Pratanak aduni chasti. Pratanak means previously. I had some scars in bhakti. That brought me under some arrangement in this life, karmically, right? Not by actual karma, but by those samskars that I came to the temple. You understand?
But bija,
Mhm.
some people say that, oh, this is the age, or this is the life only I got. The beach is aropan. It's not like it. Maybe in some life.
So many lives. Jiva Goswami says.
Yes, because we are like as we say, Bada Jivas.
Bhagavad yes.
Adibad.
Yes.
So we don't know how long we have been like definitely Anadi. So
Mhm.
in which lifetime we got this beach? We
Jiva
don't-
Goswami, in his commentary
Yeah.
on the verse, Yatotram, Yata Aswada, Viseshulashmaipi, right? Ratini Vasanaya Swadi Bashite Kapikashitit. This is the verse describing where a particular relationship comes from in our perspective as sadhakas, right? Because we talked about this many times, what happens in Siddha, etc. From a sadhaka's perspective, he's saying, Ratni Vasana, from previous impressions, you've gotten a particular kind of mood. In the Tika, in the commentary of Jiva Goswami, he says it came from, he gives 3 examples. Did it come from no impressions? He said that's not possible. Because if there was no impression, how'd you get it? He said, did it come from multiple impressions? He said, no. Because if it's multiple impressions, it'll become rasabas. He says it comes from one impression. Then he says, you cannot trace out when the impression came. He says, you cannot trace out in which life. He says, you can only tell it by its symptoms in this life. Then Vishwanath Chakravarti gives his commentary. He says, yes, Jiva Goswami is absolutely fully correct. And those impressions came from a Vaishnav with that same mood that in the previous life you had contact with, and in this life also. So now, when you're singing every day the Guru Vandanam, right? Because we sing in the temple, right? Shri Guru Charana Padma. Then you'll sing Chakudana Diloye Janami Janami Pra. My Guru was my Guru life after life.
I think so.
Understand? So they say, oh, mean Guru Dev had to come to the material world every time to get me? Is Guru Dev ever in the material world?
No.
Never. So they come for you. This is one seva to Krishna that they lovingly do. You understand? Because this is also part of their prem seva. Rup Manjari came to this world as Rup Goswami. Lavanga Manjari came to this world. Huh? Rati Manjari also came. All right, I can give a hard one. Mani Manjari also came to this world. Srinivasacharya.
What is Loknath Goswami?
Manjulali Manjari, nickname Leela Manjari. Like Raghunath Das Goswami's name is Rakti Manjari, but nickname Tulsi Manjari.
Well, can you repeat what you said about how you said something like Brahma
That verse?
Parallels the life of the Jiva.
It does. Brahma's unfoldment, when you read it, how he appears on the lotus flower and he's in darkness, he's connected to the Lord by the lotus stem, is very similar to the Jiva's appearance in this world, connected to the umbilical cord of their mother. But when you come into this world, you don't even know this is my mother. There's an inner sentiment of it. So in the Jiva, there's also an inherent teleology. Teleology means purpose. The dasita of the Jiva is not something that can be manipulated or changed. You cannot be something else. Jiva Goswami says, Dasabhuti Hariva Nanyasha Eva Kadachana. You can at no time, through all the different iterations of Maya, illusion, you cannot become something else. So you can't stay in the material world in perpetuity. Because you're the Das of Krishna, at some point, that's why Jiva Goswami in Tattva Sandarbha, he gave definitions of the word anadi. He said anadi means something that has no beginning, but it does have a... Why? Because you cannot be in perpetuity different material identities. At some point, I'm the Das of Krishna. This has to come out. You understand? And then fortune is Brahmanda Brahmati Kon Bhagwan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Bhai, Bhakti Lata Beej. At some life, by great fortune, you get the Bhakti Lata and the Beej.
I think this is very important whenever we talk about this beach. This is not the first lifetime we are getting that beach.
No.
So that's understanding.
Yeah. So that Beej, it has grown. That's why Gurudev used to connect Bhakti Lata Beej with Krishna Seva Vasana, the tendency to serve Krishna. Because it's considered, if you've already come to Bhakti, especially you've met eternal associate of Radha Krishna, it's pretty indicative that already you had previous samskars that brought you to that point. So Gurudev is saying now, the Beej and the encore of the Beej, which is Krishna Seva Vasana, are one thing now. This is not the stage of Mati for us. Mati is what the Beej is. Mati means discrimination. There was some point when you thought, I don't know, the material world is not all it's cracked up to be. It's got to be something else. And then you just happen to hear something go ching, 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 ching. So who was that? And you went down there and you looked. So the people, I was in junior high school, actually. The first time I saw the boys was like 1969 or something like that. And I was going to lunch. And I was playing basketball at that time. So the whole basketball team, we were going, and we all saw them at one time. And the guy said, man, them people are crazy. Yeah. But then I had another friend from Mexico, and he said, I want to see what those people are. I said, yeah. I was scared. I didn't want to be alone. I said, yeah, me too. It's like, wow. So we went back out and spent the whole lunch hour watching those devotees do Harinam. And Brahmananda was there. You know Brahmananda Swami? Yeah. Because he's big, and none of them had on shoes, because I think in the old days of Harinam, people would take their shoes off for some reason. So they were there barefooted, and there was no real madanga. They had tambourine. And they were giving back to Godheads and candy or something. And they were under the subway, Kings Highway in Brooklyn. I remember that. And they were doing, we stayed the whole lunch hour watching them. And then when the team came, I said, man, y'all are crazy. And then my friend looked at me and said, but don't they look happy? And I said, yeah, So like that. So any of those kind of things, we look at it and we say, yeah, there's something interesting here. That is called the Beej or Mati. Instead, it's when you question your relationship with the material world. And you start thinking, this is not the all, because you can't just go down the block and say, what is that building there? You walk inside, these people they have on bed sheets and shaved up. Hey, I want to do that. Nobody does that. You understand? So the previous impression arises in your heart and you see it. And then again, that impression, that samskar awakens. You understand? And then you question, I know everything seems to be working out. Like I remember the first time I went and joined the temple, I come back from the military, whatever. I was in, was I in college? 75. Anyways, I came back. No, 72. I went to the temple because my uncle actually he was a yogi. He was the one who was teaching us yoga and all that. He wanted to know about Bhagavad Gita. No, he wanted to know how Krishna passed away. So I called the temple and we saw it in one book, but I couldn't pronounce it. So instead of saying Mosala Lila, I called the temple on an old rotary phone. That's how old I am. And when the devotee picked up, I said, yes, hi. We just wanted to know about the Mostly Lila. And the devotee was like, because they probably maybe didn't know Mosali either. Because 11th canto was, he said, what? I said, I just wanted to know, we wanted to know how Krishna passed away from the world. He said, we don't talk about that on the phone, but if you come to the temple, we have books on all these things. So my uncle gave me $50. And at that time, there were no Ubers, but they were called gypsy cabs in New York. So a gypsy cab is like an Uber today. They come pick you up, take you to the place, wait for you, and bring you back. So we called a gypsy cab. I went to the temple, and that was the first deities I ever saw in this lifetime, which was Radha Govinda in New York. And the devotee said, "Oh, you're the person who called." So he brought down like a box. He had a BBT box, it said, and it was full of books. And so I gave him the whole $50. And then he said, wait. And he went down, he brought back up. They had prasadam, but it was in a plastic Ziploc bag. So it was like upma. And the pakoras were in the bag. So the pakoras got soggy, but it was so good. Incredible. And then he was saying, listen, we have a feast here every Sunday. He didn't, just like Bhakti Siddhanta, he didn't tell me nothing about philosophy. So we have a feast here every Sunday. It's like that. Huh?
Prashad is
The
the
same thing, yeah.
for bachelors. Like
Yeah, exactly.
Prashad is the attractive. When I go to the ISKCON temple.
Yeah.
Prashad is the one that attraction.
The thing is, I went to the next Sunday feast. Now it's not that healthy, right? Yeah, I hope so I fully have faith it's spiritual. Because it's on Sunday feast in New York, you would have Malpura, Srikhand, halava, and sweet rice in the feast. Now that's like it's just like personified diabetes, but it's transcendental. You understand? It's transcendental. That's what you have to think, huh? It's transcendental diabetes, right? Understand? Because it's unimaginable that you'd have all the things in the same feast. You know what I mean? It'd be like Srikhand, Malpur, which is like it's like donuts in strawberry yogurt or something. And then you have sweet rice and Srikhand. Glove jam. Oh, you made me forget. Then glove jamuns, right? All of that would come out. Then there was always two subjis, and they always had to have curd in the subji. And then you would have two rices, right? Yellow rice with something in it, and then regular rice. Then pakoras and New York Sunday feast and puris, right? So it was a fried diabetes transcendental arrangement.
Urinary arteries.
Yeah, it was transcendental. And then they said you should take prasadam up to your neck.
They make you exercise so much.
Uh,
Before giving you that kind of prasadam, they make you exercise so much.
Oh, the kirtan.
You can
Yeah, kirtan.
The kirtan part.
Yeah, I remember kirtan. I remember kirtan in Los Angeles when I went to the temple. Devotees would lead the kirtan, and one devotee, Agni Dev, who passed recently, he was like my kirtan leader in 75, but he would do kirtan, and the kirtan would become so amazing that in Gorarti, so they'd be singing, and then if you had your eyes closed, you're playing, the singing got more faint, and I looked, they had left the temple. They went out the back door of the temple, and they go all the way around the block. And in Watsika Boulevard, they circle the block. And in Los Angeles at that time, there was 400 devotees living in the temple. So Sundar Arti, you're talking about 75, 80 people at minimum, because you have grasses living outside, but you're talking about 100 people maybe minimum. So they went out, they go all the way around the block, and then 15 minutes later, you're still playing cartels, and you see them come back to the door. Jai Hari Bol! Hari Bol! So yeah, I mean, it was and even Harinam, they would break up into two parties because too many devotees to go in one party. So they'd break into two parties and meet in front of the Chinese restaurant in Los Angeles, the famous one. Yeah, so you'd hear the other party come. They did that in New York sometime too. You hear the other party coming, so the kirtan gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then when they all meet together, it's like 300 or 400 devotees. Mhm.
Now, question.
Yes.
Does the bhakti perish in life after life? No, don't not perish.
No. Bhakti samskars are permanent.
Whatever you were doing in this life, is it going to be transferred to the next life?
Automatically, unless there's aparad.
It may happen. Might have downfall in the same life.
Even if there's any fall, that's why in Bhagavad Gita is telling, don't have any fear. That if I did up to this point, but I couldn't make further, what I did up to this point will come again, unless it is by aparad. Aparad, if you're in Bhav and you're in Madhurya Rasa, if you commit, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur has written in his commentary, it will take your Madhurya Ras Bhav and bring it down to Dasya Ras.
But it will not perish.
It will not perish,
It will not
but it will move it. Huh?
But they can fence.
Cannot perish.
But you say in the next life you get it out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you say?
It's Dr. Pandey's unique life. That's okay. Dr. Pandey's
Uh,
Dog can also do what they want.
the dog of Shivananda Singh. Also, Mahaprabhu, when he's small, I'm coming around. When Mahaprabhu was a small child, it mentions in the, what is this, Lokanath Goswami's? What? Not Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Mangal. That when Mahaprabhu was a young boy, he used to go with his friends, and one day they found a whole group of puppies. So they were standing and they were looking, that puppy in the middle is the best. So Mahaprabhu said, okay, I'll take that one. So the boy, why are you taking that one? We're all here together. Why do you get to choose the best puppy? So Mahaprabhu told, there's so many puppies here, you also can have one? He said, but why are you taking the best puppy? We should all have that best puppy. So Mahaprabhu said, okay, listen, we'll all own that puppy, but I'll keep it in my house. So Mahaprabhu took the puppy, and he took back to the house. But now, as soon as Sachima saw it, she said, if your father will come here, see that they're Brahmin family. He comes see this dog in the house, what do you think will happen? He'll chastise you so much. So he said, so then Mahaprabhu started crying, and all the boys crying. So I said, okay, you keep outside and you hide away from your father. So then they were keeping the dog. Every day they would come to play with the dog and so forth, so on, like this. Then one day, Sachima, she thought, listen, if Jagannath Mishra will find this dog, not only chastising Nimai, I'm also getting chastised. So she took the dog and she let the dog go free. So when Mahaprabhu came, he saw the dog was gone. He began crying just so hard, so much, everything. So then, after some time, he stopped crying. He was pacified because Sachima told him, yes, because you love that dog so much, then that dog will be happy. So you don't worry, don't be sad. So then some people came and said, oh, very strange thing we saw here in this Navadvip Dham. I went to go bathe, and all of a sudden, when I went to the Ganges, I saw one dog, Hare Krishna, walking back and forth, chanting Hare Krishna. This is before Mahaprabhu's Leela. He's a child that time. So this is his Baal Leela. But still, the influence, that dog. And then Shivananda Sain used to take that dog on the skin. That dog went to see Mahaprabhu's darshan. He was also chanting. Now,
He used to pay more money
yes,
for crossing.
to help that dog cross. Now, that being a point that I'm coming around, is that Mahaprabhu also went to Jharkhand. And in Jharkhand, even the animals, lion, tiger, deer, all embracing, chanting, crying. This is something called Yavarashrai Viti. I'm not speaking this thing here now. But we are also here in Massanutten. And because this is in the hills, there are bears here that are in those hills. So we are not Mahaprabhu. My point being, they normally don't come down because there's so many people here and so many cars, everything, right? But don't go on a Japa walk up into the mountains. But you can drive up. It's very beautiful up here. You can drive, but don't walk in the mountains and chanting very loudly. Don't worry, like the bear will embrace me, anything.
Yeah, because he didn't notice anybody safe.
But yeah, no. Yeah, so I just want to, for safety reasons, I'm also mentioning. Ram, let's go.
When we were coming out, I saw that one couple was coming. I mean, he was wearing the t-shirt, looked like that he's follower of all this.
Uh-huh.
So
He said, Haribo, Haribo.
I did point him out. I said Haribol. They all are saying, oh, you tell everybody to Haribol. At least it is going in here.
Yes, benefit for sure. No question.
And he didn't react. So
No.
people like
Ram?
I have a question. Thank you for.
Yes, I'll repeat the question.
So you were talking about Janma Janma Prabhu say, after birth, you are my Lord. But I was just kind of like meditating on this sense of my guru is my Lord birth after birth, but he has a guru. and he's his Lord birth after birth, and he is a guru.
Mm.
Does that mean the whole? And then what if one day it's my duty to also become a guru? Does that mean the whole parampara, all the way up to Krishna, has to come birth after birth to deliver all the?
If you're taking disciple, now here's the thing. How many disciples did Rupa Goswami have?
None.
One. Jiva Goswami Pad. So the thing is, you don't have 10,000 disciples. You understand? If you have disciple and those disciples are very sincere, then no need for Guru to come back. You understand? And the norm was not 10,000 disciples or 5,000 or 1,000 disciples. That was not the norm. Sastra actually forbids to take too many disciples. So it should be that I will only take disciples in whom heart to heart I can have connection. If I cannot have heart to heart connection, if the disciple has to call the secretary who speaks to the first man, who then relays the message to the next secretary, it's problematic a little bit. I spoke this on Namras's podcast. Now, Al Srila Prabhupada, my Srila Gurudev had 1,000 disciples. They are called Sain Pati Bhaktas. That is a special mission of Mahaprabhu. Al Srila Prabhupada, he fulfilled the prophecy. He was the personified fulfillment of that prophecy. So also it's mentioned, Guru Agya Sirasi Dharani Shaktive Swarupine. He had the empowerment directly of Nityananda Prabhu. You understand? So he had that power to take all kinds of devotees from every rust, from every angle of vision, and bring them on the path of Mahaprabhu's bhakti. Those are unique. But if you ask any Prabhupada disciple, everybody, and Gurudev said as well, nobody felt like they were not personally with Gurudev. Nobody felt like that. But I've heard from devotees sometimes, oh, well, I can't speak to my guru. Like one disciple, Trivikram Prabhu, he was in Dallas at a program and they were discussing something. And he said, oh, wait, let me call my guru. I'll ask him. And the devotee looked and said, you can call your guru? You should be able to. Now, we shouldn't think that, it's not a question of Maryada here, proper etiquette. It's that guru disciple, we don't live together like it used to be in ashram. So you should be able to call or to message or to say, Gurudev, I have any question, I have this and that. If it's busy, Guru say, I will contact later and answer. But if you're so busy, you have so many people, why should take a disciple if I can't help you? And it's not an institutional thing. You just join an institution. This is the protocol. Disciple guru, it's deeper than marriage. You understand? How much love and affection? Because you're saying, I'm willing to come back to this world again and again to get that person. How much love you have to have? You understand?
That's what Vishwambrain Guru Seva. That's what you said.
That's Vishwambena Guru Seva. So Ram's question, because I know devotee's asking, he was asking if Guru comes back each time for the disciple, because we're quoting the verse, Chakudandilaye, Janami Jamni Prabhu say, then what happens if everybody in Parampara has to do that? Which is a good question, right? But I was mentioning that most didn't have many disciples. Lokanath Goswami, one disciple. Narottam Das. So people didn't have many disciples. And when they took a disciple was very serious, so they become realized persons.
That's why the BBA smoke.
Yeah.
Wildfire can engulf everything.
Yes. And also, my Gurudev told, because the thing is there, that especially Srila Prabhupada would tell, if the disciples are not sincere, they don't follow properly, etc., then the Guru will incur some karma from that.
Yeah, get the brunt of that.
Get the brunt of that. So this is good to make the disciple conscious, to try to practice properly. You understand? But then Gurudev told, if the Guru is sincere, you understand? Krishna then, as Antaryami, comes to protect that person and absorbs all of that karma. But then you don't tell the disciple that, because, well, Gurudev, he's okay, he's fine. And, he'll be all right. I'm just going to have a little fun, right? He'll be all right.
May I follow up?
Yeah, sure.
So
course.
when does it break for like those previously in the parampara? Like say, my guru, he has to keep coming back for me because I'm the rascal.
Mhm.
But he might be delivered because it's Maryada that he would take a guru. So how does his guru have to come back because I'm being a rascal, and does his
No, it's not like that. And also, this is a lot. It's a post. And also it's in the context of Krishna's mercy, because who's delivering? Is it the guru or is it Krishna who's delivering? Krishna's delivering. So Krishna may say, no, no, I don't want you to go back. I'll deliver that person from the impressions you gave in your Acharya Leela. I'll make that impression in their heart. In this life, they'll become Siddha. Krishna can do like this. So that's what.
I just want to add that a lot of times we try to take what we have learned or experienced from a material point of view and try to see it from a transcendental point of view. Srila Prabhupada once mentioned that Guru is one, but he comes in an infinity of forms. So this is the answer to your question. This is how this actually happens.
Yes.
It's not that, oh, this Guru stand here, this line, he's gonna come in here, then this one's gonna. It doesn't come like that.
It could be that also Shiksha will come in another life. Now, here's the thing. I asked Gurudev about this one time, and Gurudev said in the sadhaka's mind, he should think, my guru will come. And the reason he thinks that, yes, he's not going anywhere. Yeah, exactly. So, but he will think my guru will come because it creates Vishramba with guru. That's why Narottam Das sung like that. He said that, oh, Lokanath, you're my Lord, birth after birth. He directly addressed to Lokanath Goswami to make a Vishramba with Guru. But does Lokanath Goswami need to come back for Narottam Das Thakur? Who's Narottam Das Thakur in spiritual world? Champak Manjari. It's good to know our parampara, their Golila, and their inner mood. Because then when you sing their bhajan, you can pray, oh Narottam Das, I'm singing your bhajan. Oh, please bless me. You're Champak Manjari. You also help me to get the favor of Rup Manjari and so forth. This is why we know our Gurudevs are Manjari Pranali as well. All right, any last couple of questions, and we'll do a little bit of kirtan.
The word Vishvambar you mentioned.
Vishvambar or Vishramba?
Vishvambar.
Vishrambar.
Yeah.
Vishrambar means, Vishra means the universe. Vishrambar means who maintains the whole universe. So who maintains our bhakti is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now we were talking earlier in the prayer of Saranagati, Rakshishati Vishwas Goptave Varanam Tata. That who's maintaining and protecting bhakti, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gurudev. They're maintaining and protecting our bhakti. Then it says, Atmanikshep Karpanya. Therefore, I'll become, Karpanya means I'll become very humble because I realize it's not my power that's making advancement in bhakti. It's the mercy of Guru and Mahaprabhu and ultimately Radha Krishna who is giving the mercy to advance in bhakti. So now you become what's called Sakshi. Sakshi means a witness to the power of bhakti. Seeing the power of bhakti, you become very humble. You understand? That's why some devotees will think, yes, I have to chant my rounds. Can you chant Hare Krishna? So you're praying essentially, oh, please give me mercy, that the inspiration to recite your name will come in my heart. And this is anukul to growing in bhakti. That's what you're being anukul, but you can't chant. Is there any praman for this? Ataha?
Dashi Krishna Namadi.
Nabhavet Graham Indriya Seva Mukhi Hi Jivado. Until Seva Vritti means your mood, you're coming into some sambandha again, that I'm not this body, etc., but I'm this person. Then at that time, you have some what's called kartita agency, means the ability to do. Because Bhakta John joins the temple. Can he chant Hare Krishna? No. The mercy of the Guru Parampara and you running a temple, so you bring people, your mercy also going to that person, reaching out, bringing them, and then helping them, your compassion towards them reflects the mercy of their future Guru now. You understand? Until you decide to take disciples yourself, right? It reflects but still your mercy is reflected in bringing those people. I've been to Mantra Central, so I seen how you bring. Remember the day you brought that young man, he had gone through an injury, everything? He attempted suicide, something. He came with his mom when I was there. Yeah, it was one devotee. I don't know if he's come back, but he had attempted suicide, you told me. and he came with his mom to the temple, and you had met him on Harinam and preached to them.
Yes.
And I was so impressed because I thought somehow or another, with all this difficulty, because he was just in really, bad, he attempted suicide or something. So, but it didn't go up, but he was very, bad for, but they did on Harinam, and he preached to them, and the mother and him came to the temple. Understand? So that kind of mercy, like that is the reflection of the whole parampara. So, like this, people are getting mercy and they'll come and they'll participate. But they themselves don't have the Shakti to practice bhakti. That's coming from the influence of Guru Parampara through you to them, etc. Because that night they chanted while we were doing the arti, everything else. Understand? Then when you have Sambandha Gyan mature and something of your Swarup has come, that time is not Bhakta Jan or even Janadas who's chanting. Now some realization of Swarup comes, that's who's chanting. And so now Bhagavan can give you some kartata, means some agency to chant, to do bhajan. Because you're not doing bhajan as the material senses, you're doing bhajan as your inner realized self. And don't romanticize realization. Realization doesn't necessarily come all in one swoop. You'll know what your identity is before you see it in person. You understand? You'll know before you see it in person. Because when you're doing bhajan properly, gradually in the bhajan is telling you this, like this, and you have to be able to hear that. So under guidance, you learn how to do bhajan. Inside you'll know, but you have not seen yet. Then gradually it becomes more clear. Then in bhav, it crystallizes and you see it. Most of us are thinking now, I'm going to keep chanting 16 hours every day. Then one day I'm going to hear something. There's Krishna. It's in the heart. Yeah. There it is. I knew it's right? Or you hear the ice cream man's truck pass and you hear bells while you're sleeping. There it is. There's the ankle bells. I hear it now. So it won't happen like that. You'll come to know your Swarup in incremental stages, to Shraddha, to Sadhusanga Bhajana Kriya. Anatana Vritti will pass. In Nishta, the heart becomes clear enough to start reflecting the taste of a particular service. And therefore, you'll have an aspirational desire. I want to become the Palanadasya Radhika. Then, as your bhajan increases, a conviction comes. This is called convicted realization. I am the Palyadasya Radhika. Then in your bhajan, something will come. Oh, your name is like this. Your age is like this. Something small come. Then that's not to be revealed, right? You'll just chant that, right? You keep chanting, doing your sudden bhajan, but now I'm convinced this is who I am. Then in Bhav, Swarup Shakti will descend on that and it crystallizes it. Yes, you are so and so. This is your age, this is your where you live, etc. 11 different things will manifest.
5 lives will go by that time.
Huh.
All right, so I think today we'll just do a little kirtan. Rami can do a little kirtan, a little low. They'll hear it upstairs, but they'll be benefited rather than call in and complain.
Do we have instruments?
No, we were just doing by hand here.
I can bring some tomorrow.
Oh, you have?
I brought some.
Okay, so we can bring, as long as we do low. So for today, just low.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Very bold devotees, so we'll end here.
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.